So, welcome everybody to Heal Your Shadow Relationships. Today, I am so pleased to welcome Allana Pratt. She has been featured on CBS, TLC, Fox. She's coached to celebrities, a cum laude graduate of Columbia. And Allana is a single mom who battled an internal war of body shame and sexual guilt that destroyed her confidence, her joy, and her softness. But now she's an author of 4 books, including The Reluctant MILF, and you have to look that one up. She pole dances for pleasure. She knows when mama's happy, everybody's happy. She inspires women to embrace their sacred erotic nature to attract all the love and attention they choose, and heals men's emasculated hearts, works with men too. She cures their nice guy. She awakens their noble, badass honoring of women. That sounds so good to me. I love that. And thousands flock to her sexy, empowering show, Intimate Conversations Live. She is here to end sexual violence on the planet, have stupid amounts of joy as a mother, ooze sensuality, and inspire reverence for our exquisite sexual nature. So I want to very much give a warm welcome to Allana Pratt.
Oh, it is such a pleasure to be here. And you are a walking goddess, and you've attracted your soulmate, so you must have a noble badass in your head. So I honor you as well. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. I'm so thrilled to be here and to be talking to you, Allana. So I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say about shadow relationships. Now, you've got a great story about when you were a young woman, you moved to Japan and you became a successful model, a dancer, a TV spokesperson. You made so much money, lots of money. And after that exhilarating experience, there came a time in your life when you married and you became ashamed to talk about what had once brought you so much tremendous empowerment. So Can you talk about how that shame is a part of the shadow aspect, keeping us from our full power? How was that for you?
Yeah, well, I'll first kind of give just the juxtaposition, what it was like to be in my power, my radiance, and then the shame, and then how I got out of it. Because I didn't go to Japan to become a topless dancer. That wasn't like, that's my goal. It just sort of happened. There was a job at the Four Seasons, and it was a very exquisite hotel, and the money was really, really good. And I got there, and I'm like, okay, where are the tops of the costumes? And all the other girls were like, this is a topless, like, I was like the loser, right? I was the weird one. They were all like, cool, no problem. I'm like, right. And I'm like, okay, I could run out, but no one's gonna see me.
Wow.
Let's just do this. So I got out there on stage, and I felt all the shame. And what the shame attracted was its mirror. The men would look at me, hey, tall glass of water. I mean, they didn't speak English, but that kind of feeling, slimy, like, ugh. And I just felt like a piece of dirt, like a piece of meat. And yet what I noticed out of the corner of my eye was all these other girls, the men weren't reacting the same way. They were like sitting up in their chairs. They were kind of honoring them. They were at least being positive. And I'm like, what the hell's going on here? And as the days moved on, what I realized is that these women dancing had a different belief in their body. They held themselves differently than I did. They knew they were a work of art. They didn't have any hang-ups around their body parts or their sexuality. It's just like, this is art. I am a goddess. Thank you for noticing. And the men would behave differently. So I started this new practice where I'd go out on stage and I would breathe in the slime comments, the judgment, whatever, the masculine attention that didn't feel very good. And I would hold it in my heart and I would affirm, oh yes, I am a goddess. Thank you for noticing. And then I would exhale it out. And then I started to get the same results that they did. All the men would bow and do this and clap. And I'm like, oh, I'm the one in charge here, not them. It's my thoughts and my beliefs and my energy that's creating what's coming back at me. So it's a huge revelation for me that this body and this shame is all my stuff. And so you can release it as simple as that. There's so many processes we learn from all sorts of experts on how to release the shame. But the first one is don't let it be a secret because it grows in secrecy. So feel it. Like, I feel ashamed right now. And don't go towards it with judgment. Go towards it with like kindness and curiosity, and like scoop that shameful girl up and, oh, tell me more. What's going on? And then listen, and then see if you can shift and find the new point of view. What is right about this? This body is beautiful. I am a work of art. Okay? So that was the first relationship. And that's where my first husband met me, in my radiance on the stage, right? But as soon as we got back to the States, we hadn't even landed. We were in like business class and we're flying home, and he said, "Are you gonna wear that?" And I went, "I've known you for 3 years in Japan. I wear this all the time. What is the issue here?" And I don't think that's really going to fit in so well. And within about a year, I had a big ass rock on this ring. I mean, rock on this finger. Rock, whatever I'm trying to say. Big rock there. My hair was a bob, straight. I was, wouldn't dress like this. It was very conservative. And I was starting to go to Columbia University, because I'm very smart. And I wouldn't tell anybody about dancing. And if they asked what kind of dancer, I would say, "Oh, well, I've studied ballet." And which is true. And I would, I was a strawberry for the Disneyland parade, which was true. Okay. I didn't lie, but I certainly didn't say I was a topless dancer. And I just sort of went, meow, and the shame came back. So once you get rid of it, it can come back again. Or maybe there's just another layer or another life lesson that's going to give you an opportunity. Can you keep your heart open here? Can you love yourself here too? Can you choose love over shame here? And I didn't. For a couple years, I hid until it got so bad that marriage fell apart, because who he fell in love with in the end wasn't who he wanted to be by his side back in New York. And so that marriage dissolved. Yeah. And when I came to LA, I found my people. I went to Agape, and I didn't start to topless dance again, but I did start dance class and do a lot of healing with my body. And now, all these years later, I pole dance, and I love it. And I just have a really healthy sacredness to my eroticism. And I use my dance class to explore the edges. When I'll see a woman, I'm like, "Oh, that's scary. Whoa, did you see what she just did? Okay." And I use the class to go to embrace her. "Oh, that's too naughty." Even today, there's still places in me that I think are too naughty. And my job is just to love all those parts, not to be like other people, but to know what's true for me. Because I don't think we're ever at choice if we're resisting another or trying to overcompensate or hide from shame. Those are all these ways to get away from who we are. But if we can embrace, allow, dissolve all resistance, dissolve all shame, and just come home, we'll know what the true sacred sexual being that we are. We'll know who she is. And then you can dress like her, you can walk like her, you can dance like her, you can be girlfriends like her, and then you can bring that into the bedroom and be sexually like her.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Allana, you made so many amazing, wonderful points. I want to touch on some of them. I mean, first of all, the fact that you said what you are feeling is what you're going to be experiencing.
Yeah.
That's the way the shadow works. If there's anything inside of you that you're not bringing out to the light, that you're not looking at, that you're not open with, that you're keeping secret, it's going to keep coming back at you from all different directions. And what a unique, beautiful path, because I do believe the universe put you on this path, put you in, right there at that Four Seasons with, oh my goodness, I have to suddenly topless dance. And so many of us would have the exact same issue because it's a societal issue. And I so admire your courage for embracing that and walking through that and being the light so that everybody else can walk through this taboo with you as a shining, beautiful leader. And I love that you're treating it in a sacred way, that we're not going down to the level of objectifying.
No.
Objectification or treating a woman like an object that, and like you said, there were women that were getting the treatment as though they were the goddess.
Right.
And that's what to tune into.
And it's just the same for women and men. Like there's Chippendale clubs and men's clubs or whatever where women go bonkers. screaming for men in G-strings, sparkle sequin G-strings. I mean, come on. It's like we are just as hung up as men are hung up on the whole like sexuality in this culture. We're not brought to it with this sacredness from the beginning. We're not brought to it with, there's nothing wrong with gay or transsexual or whatever you want. You can hang from the ceiling. You can do missionary. It doesn't matter. It's all beautiful so long as nobody's getting hurt. I'm not in kids off limits. Not okay. Right. But with there's a couple rules. But in general, the rest is just be who you are and see the beauty and really embody that beautiful life force energy. We got to pray before we started our interview, and just like that energy in us, as us, and through us, as we type an email, as we talk to a friend, as we make love, like there's no separating it. It's all who we are. And that level of freedom, oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. Because here's something also about sexual energy I learned in this journey as well. We think that our sexual energy is just for copulation. It can be, but that actual life force energy, that chi, that juiciness that's coming through us, our sexual energy that makes us turn heads when we walk in a room. I turn heads when I walk in the classroom, my son's classroom, because I'm alive. And that kind of sexual energy is kindness and tenderness and care and presence and, like encouragement. And the kids just are like my son's friends hug me sometimes before they hug their moms. And I'm like, sorry. But like, I see them, I acknowledge them, I celebrate them, I don't judge them, I hold them to the nobility that they are. Like, they respond. Yeah. So that's also sexual energy. Sexual energy is also when you're like, oh, I want to do this series of interviews. I'm going to do this. That came through as creative energy, a book. Sexual energy also could be very, kinky and naughty and delicious and a way you want to eat and savor something that you might normally not think is appropriate, or a sound you want to make when you see a work of art that you're like, can I emote this in this art gallery? Everybody's silent. There's so many ways in life where you can exude your gratitude and appreciation in this sensual way. That it could just be the way you roll your shoulder. It could be very subtle, but it allows this energy to feel good and have pleasure and be alive as a woman. And that'll make a maitre d' happy, a teacher happy. Like it's not like you don't want to sleep with everybody. It's not that. It's just, wow, thank you. I'm receiving. This feels great to be alive. And it gives others permission to like, okay, I can put down all these walls and just like live. Let's just live.
Yeah. Well, I think what you're describing there is just fundamental life force energy. Yeah. And so many of us, through the course of growing up, I don't care if you had the best parents in the world, there were some times where you just were too young to know how to handle the emotions coming at you. And so we formed these walls of defenses and protection around ourselves. And unfortunately, that's what blocks this life force that you're talking about. So you had a fantastic opportunity to get through some of those major, that's a huge block. Our sexual block, that's a huge, huge block. Once you undam that block, then it just allows so much more life force and life energy and deal with all of our defenses, all of our self-protective mechanisms. So in saying all of this, I know that you coach people, you coach women, you coach men. I so love that you work with men too. It's wonderful. And you probably see different ways that your clients are blocking themselves or have habits of blocking themselves. So I want to tell our viewers how they can recognize, because the thing about the shadow aspect is we don't even know that we're coming from shadow. Because we're hiding it from ourselves. So how do you recognize that you have a block in this area, that you're not as delicious and juicy as you can be? How do you recognize it?
In a lot of ways, you feel like shit. It's like, that's the main thing.
Well, that's telling it like it is.
Yeah, it really is. Like, you're going to walk into a room. It could be for networking. It could be with your children. It could be with your spouse. It could be dating. It could be so you arrive on the scene and you're not yourself. That's the sign. Yes. You're concerned. You're in your head. You're trying to be a people pleaser. You're hiding. You're trying to overcompensate. You're trying to lead with this is my car, or these are my boobs, or like whatever. Like, you're just not walls down, vulnerable, powerful, hi. Like if you don't have that freedom just to be in life 24/7 like that, something's going on somewhere.
Okay.
Which isn't to say like none of that's going on in me, because I'm human and I go through all these different layers myself. But that's the main thing. If there's any hesitation, if you have like this desire and then you're about to go take an action in that desire and you stop yourself and you talk yourself out of it, that's it right there.
So that was an interesting thing you said, vulnerable and powerful. It sounds like they're opposites. How do you achieve that? How do you get to that place?
Well, I used to think vulnerable was scary and weak. Yeah. But vulnerable is the most potent, powerful, alive place. I wouldn't say it's calm. It's kind of intense. That's for sure.
Oh, that's interesting.
But think about it. Like if you're walking up and here I am trying to do the interview with you like this. Okay, I'm not being vulnerable. I've got all my masks out. You know, I'm trying to protect myself. Like, can I see you well? No. Can I hear you well? No. Can I give my love to you? No. Can I receive your love? No. So that's not vulnerable. And when I bring these down, now I'm being vulnerable. And then it's like, oh, holy shit, here she is. This is scary. Oh my God. But what we're connected to, like when we're doing this, how much God can we let in? How much life force energy can we let in? How much intuition can we let in? How much instincts or support from the universe can we let in? If we're doing this, the universe might be trying to help you, but it can't get in. Right. So if you're like this, you're like, oh my God, totally connected to source, totally connected to the earth, totally connected to instinct, intuition, knowing. You're like full board connected to everything, limitless knowledge right here, right now. Whew, this is intense though, because there's nothing going, okay, what do I need to say so I look good? You're like, oh, you just saw me do that. Oh, okay. And you have to be real. Like maybe real will sound like, wow, I'm really nervous right now. You're really attractive. Okay, say it, right? Or excuse me, I'm just gonna go to the bathroom, I'll be right back. And you go to the bathroom and you're like, ah! And then you come back and you're calm again, right? Vulnerable is like the richest, most delicious, fullest, yet intense experience there is. And I think it's what we really all yearn for, because it's the only way we can be seen. You can't see me. God can't see me. I don't feel seen by the universe, held by the universe. I don't trust myself because I can't hear myself because I'm blocking myself. So I feel very, very scared because I don't even know what my truth is. It's a very, very, very scary place to live when you're not being vulnerable. Right. And it takes courage. I will say it takes courage and bravery. But it's the most powerful, almost so powerful that it's humbling, because you feel the universe's love for you. You hear your heart and your truth. And you're going to have to take action on that. And you're present to another human being who you cannot control, who has total free will to be and do and say anything. Okay? That takes a lot of bravery, but holy, when you find some real fun people to interact with on this level, oh, that's living. I'm just not willing to live like this anymore. It's too much to remember. What lie did I tell? What was I supposed to? Oh, it's too much.
Very true. So like you said, this is something that we're all really yearning for. And I think that's the reason that everyone is yearning for an intimate relationship. Because once you get to that level of intimacy where the two of you can let go of your barriers, and of course there is a process sometimes through the length of the relationship. I've been married to my husband for 17 years. And
nice.
You know, there's still barriers and boundaries that we're working through and sorting out. And, you know, we both grow, we both change, and our circumstances change. So new things are happening, new shifts are happening.
Yes.
So when you talk about being totally vulnerable, I'm going to put words on it like being open, showing up, being totally, fully present.
Honest. Honoring.
Honoring. That's a good one. Honoring of myself as well as the person in front of me, whoever that might be.
Yeah.
And inclusive of us both, because the protection mechanism is I'm separate, you're separate. And, you know, then you start to kind of almost make enemies with another person if you're in your barrier or in your shadow.
And allowance, no, attachment to the results. Just let it go where it's going to go. Trust.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So as you're working with your clients and they bring to you whatever their issue is that they don't even know how to get through it, or they might not be aware of it, what do you have specific tips for women as well as for men, maybe you could give us a couple different examples. Maybe, how you work with a woman with a certain kind of block, how you work with a man with a certain kind of block, and walk them through their shadow aspects.
This is great. Okay, so I'll give one example of a current female and a current male client, but I don't tell who they are or whatever.
Sure.
So one client, she lost her husband suddenly. He died. She's pretty young. They were together still for 10, 12 years or something, but total shocker. She had to pull the plug, the whole thing. He was in the government, the services, so they kept giving her all these things where she'd have to go and get the flag. And again, and then next month. And then they're going to reenact the whole death again next month. This went on for 18 months. So she couldn't move on. There was just so her home was like, every room was becoming this shrine to him, because she had all these flags and all these plaques and all these things, and what do you do with them? You can't throw them away. So she was basically surrounded by his death, couldn't move on, and there she was, and she finally found me with coaching, and she'd been to therapy for this whole period of time. And this is the biggest compliment ever. Her mother said after one call, she goes, "I heard my baby's voice again. I heard her again." So we can do this so much that we lose our soul, our essence, we just shut off. And that's what she was doing, just to get through it. So we started working together, and she couldn't hear herself. She couldn't hear what she really wanted, because she was living in the same house, surrounded by the same friends. Everybody was like, "Well, how are you?" That. She didn't have anywhere to know what she really wanted. So I encouraged her to take a 3-month break from work and just to travel and to have a walkabout. And oh my God, I could never. I go, "No, it's just a suggestion, just chew on it." I think we chewed on it for 6 months. But she left, and she started to just go into the unknown and start to trust again, because the unknown had slammed her with a really big thing. So she didn't know how to trust. She was terrified of being alone. There's a difference between being alone and being lonely. So by the end of the 3 months, we found ways for her to separate being alone and being lonely, and to recognize that you can show up and create results. The universe is co-creating with you. Make your choice, open up, show up. Let's see what happens. She got a lot more into nature so she could hear herself better. She took risks. She climbed mountains. She caught a shark. Yeah, she's crazy. She was so alive though. And every time someone would come and visit her for part of her trip and then they'd leave, she'd find that, she got to deal with that loneliness thing, and then go, "Okay, no, I'm okay. I'm connected someplace else now. I don't need to be connected just to my husband or just to my friends. I can be connected to me." And through all of this, now her mom says it's her real smile. She's smiling her real smile again, and she's not doing the fake one. And we're just beginning, because now she's like, "Okay, I actually know and hear this is the job I want, and this is where I want to live, and this is what I want to do, and I don't want to date right now. I don't care. I'm not ready. I'm not." And so she got real clear on everything, and so she's just such an inspiration, sexier than hell, so gorgeous, so amazing. And so, not that everybody needs to quit their job and go away for 3 months, but the idea is, as a woman, the answer isn't spinning in here. The answer for work, for love, for self-love, for whatever it is to be you, to live a life that is in alignment with your beautiful soul, is found in here, in our body, in our heart. And so to create time, to listen. And you can listen through being in nature. You can listen through dance. You can listen through prayer. You can listen through a walkabout, even if it's just for a long weekend. There's a lot of ways, but you're not going to hear it when you're doing the pace of go, 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 go. And you're not going to hear it because she said something and she said something else and I should listen to them. They don't have the answers. You do. Create the space so you can listen. And if you need some support to help deal with what comes up as you go inside, because as you go inside, you're going to meet, loneliness, or don't know how to make it, you're going to meet stuff. So having a coach along the way just to hold space, but believe in you, that balance is very, very effective. So that's a story about one of my wonderful clients.
Beautiful story, gorgeous. Wow,
isn't that nice?
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, and just the other day she came to visit on her walkabout, and I was buying flowers and food and everything. And this woman at Trader Joe's, she's like, oh, those are beautiful flowers. Who are those for? And I just decided to tell her. I go, oh, it's for my girlfriend. She goes, what's the occasion? I go, her husband died, but she just did a walkabout and she's coming to visit. And she's like, oh, I needed to hear that today. I'm going to go home and tell my husband how much I love him. And it's like, it's just crazy when you're living fully, doing your thing, how
Beautiful.
it just ripples. You never even know, right?
Yeah,
That was
perfect.
cool.
That's spirit.
Yeah. And so I have so many male I actually have more male clients than female clients, believe it or not. Yeah.
Wow.
Didn't plan it that way.
Lucky you.
I know, right? What I've learned is that I'm a really beautiful template, maybe is a good word, for a man. I'm tender, healing, non-judgmental, unconditionally loving, safe, feminine sanctuary.
Safe. That's so important for men, the safety.
All my clients have been emasculated, all of them. All of them don't trust women on some level, whether it's mom, ex-wife, somebody. Some of them have never felt that head against the breast exhale, like ever. And maybe the mom had 5 kids and the husband died, and it's not like she was evil, but like she was a busy lady and just couldn't do it, right? We don't know the circumstances, but so some of them have never found that. So I work with my clients together in intensives. They're these 2-day events in person. Otherwise, I do everything else on the phone and Skype. But even on the phone and Skype, sometimes that distance is actually good to begin, so it's not too much. But then sometimes in the intensives, just me holding space for 4 hours straight, you get 10 hours of work done. Because you don't just drill for oil in different places. You stay there, and I go, okay, this is where you always run. Let's stay here. And we get through that layer. Okay, this is a place you always, push away. Stay with me. And we can get to this place and go through so many. It's like alchemy. It's like grace. I just hold space. And the magic occurs ahead of me. And I know it's because of the impeccable energy I hold and non-judgment. And I love my clients. I love them. Like, I'm not in love with them, but I love them. And I do everything I can. And I'm like, use me. This one's a good one. This one's a keeper. This one wants to do the work. Let's do the work. So that's the first place I hold with this one particular gentleman. A lot of people come to me about sexuality. It's not just man meets woman, woman meets man, live together for 60 years anymore. It's just not how it goes. The more a lot of us evolve in consciousness, they want to have different partners, or they want to come out of the closet, or they don't hate their husband or wife, but they're done. And they feel the contract's over and they don't know how to move on and not make it personal. And there's just a lot of stuff. And so when we hold these true sexual desires under wraps, and then we hurt another because we're not coming from our truth, and there's a lot of damage that can get done. So a lot of the clients have unfortunately gone through the damage by the time they get to me, but sometimes before, and we can create beautiful shifts and healing. But I hold space, and then all of a sudden that part that's always needed to be heard, seen, acknowledged, validated, celebrated, that's rested. And then the next phase of my energy, I kind of turn more into like Kali, like sexy, sassy Kali energy. And I'm like, you get that cute ass off the couch and you get out there because you're a rock star. And off you, like, once they've, gotten calm and they've reconnected, they know what to do. I don't need to tell them what to do. But they need someone to believe in them, because maybe they're going to fall down 5 or 6 times before they get it right. That's normal, right? That's to be expected. And that's not a failure. That's just one step closer to, you can't do a triathlon on the first run. Sorry, you got to practice. So I'm there for them to sassy kind of get them out there till they are not just trying to be confident, they're confidence itself. They're embodying strength itself, vulnerability itself, nobility itself. Like it's in them. And it's not a thing to get or a line to say. It's an embodiment that's already inside. So I kind of act like this catalyst to wake it up and to believe in them. And then the last phase is just high five, celebrate them. And it's beautiful when they finally go, I met her. Or when they've been dating someone and they're like, I finally told her who I really am and what I really desire. And that they're met. I just actually went to one of my clients. He's had 300 first dates. And he came to me, and because he was operating from here up, he wasn't connected to his heart or his balls. So his sacred sexuality wasn't available because his heart was shut down. So he could be sexual sometimes, but it came across kind of slimy because his heart wasn't there. So, yes, we have our beautiful mind, our eyes, but a healed heart allows for the sexuality to be very dark with heart or noble or badass or sexy in the way that we want to be claimed as women. So I did the inner work with him. And then he had 3, I guess it went to 5 or 6 dates. And then he met Rachel. And they were together. And so he had this comedy show called Feminar. And he told all the self-deprecating humor of his 300 dates. And then how he met his life coach, Allana Pratt. And I was like, crying. And then how he met Rachel, and then he had some advice for us single women dating. It was hysterical. But by the end of that, I was like, wow, he did it. And I sat with her in the audience, and wow, it was humbling and acknowledging and high-fiving him, and that's a big piece for a lot of men. And it's totally possible to turn that around and to find the one in a very short period of time.
Well, I love how you said that all of these qualities are within us already. There's nothing out there to get.
No.
We just have to, like the poet Rumi said, we just have to recognize what is in the way of all of our love coming forth and all of our energy, if you want to call it Kundalini energy or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It sounds like you are just a phenomenal coach, and I'm sure that everybody watching you would love to find out about how to reach you, how to connect with you, where to go to find you, and anything else that you want to say about what you're offering, what you're involved with these days. We'd love to hear it.
Thank you. Well, yeah, I have a radio show, Intimate Conversations Live, and it's free. So totally, if you go to allanapratt.com and just sign up, that'll get you into my delicious newsletter and my amazing radio show. So that's that. Do you have the tips link for them? Or?
I do. I'm going to, right here below the video, you guys are going to see free gift from Allana Pratt, and just click on that and that'll take you to her free sexy tips.
Yeah, I have 3 audios for women and 3 audios for men. And actually it's kind of good if you listen to the opposite, because it helps you understand the opposite sex better as well. But for example, with women, there's 3, but I'll just tell you one. What is the biggest sabotaging factor that drains our sensuality and how to shift it? So that's one of the audios for women. And there's 3 for men. This is one for the men. How does 1 inch make all the difference? And it's not the inch you're thinking of. So these are really awesome audios. They're totally free. They're on the link there. So it gets more tips and tools for you, but another way to get to know me. And just come play in my world. And if it's a match, let's do some deep work together. And regardless, I would love to play with you.
Well, thank you so much, Allana. I am just amazed, overwhelmed, and thrilled to get to experience your energy. I love it so much. I appreciate it so much. And this half hour has come to an end way too quick.
Yes.
But I'm so happy that you were able to join us. And thank you so much for your beautiful presence and for sharing your gifts with the world.
Oh, and thank you for the privilege. You're wonderful, and you're a neighbor, so we have to see each other.
Yes.
And say thank you again. All my love to you and the watchers and listeners.
Okay, thank you everybody for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.